Welcome back. This is Bent Discipline with Lesson 2. This is all about selecting the right sub for you. And just because you are dominant and you meet a submissive, it doesn't mean that it's going to be necessarily a good match. And it's important for you to be able to say no to opportunities. Now, there's a lot to unpack here. The first thing is your abilities and skills don't always match properly with the needs and expectations of the sub that you've met. So it's important that you learn to figure out what it is that they need and what they want, and we'll go into how to do that in greater detail. Before I spend any time and energy figuring out what type of sub they are and if I have the ability to properly train and manage them, I do something to filter out the ones that would definitely not work out for me. And the first ones are the ones that are tourists. These are individuals that are potentially kinky. Maybe they're just looking to check a box in their bucket list, but they're not serious, because this is a very time intensive, energy intensive, very emotional adventure, and it's not for everyone. So there's no point in starting something with someone who's just looking to try something out once and then they're going to take off. You want someone who really, really, really wants to explore this for the long term. It's not something that they put on a mask one night and say, oh, this is who I am, and then take it off the next morning going, oh, that was fun to try. You're looking for someone who this is a deep part of their psyche, who they've wanted to do this their entire lives. They're not going to just suddenly quit as soon as they've tried it once. So when you first meet someone, it's important that you talk to them just very casually, find out what they're about, what their interests are, and then delve into how serious they are about their submission, about their interest in kink. You don't have to get into the details of what types, but just how did they come about being interested in kink, and for how long have they been interested, and how do they know that they're, truly a submissive? Like, what is it? What signs have they seen? And also, it's pretty easy actually. If a sub has never known about submission, about BDSM, and then is exposed to a little bit, they will become voracious about exploring it. They will, check out every YouTube channel, every vlogger, every podcast, every website that they can find. They'll just suck in the information because it's like they're breathing for the first time. They're finally finding their home. Those are the ones you're interested in. You're not interested in the ones that, they watched a movie like 50 Shades of Grey and go, oh, that'd be fun, let's try that. Or they heard about somebody else doing it and they're like, maybe I want to try that. It's not like a flavor of the day kind of thing. It's something that's innate inside of them, a desire that they need to fulfill. So the very first filter I have when I'm considering a new petition, a new sub, is how serious are they? How committed are they about this being part of their lifestyle? Because if it's not a serious thing, it's not worth my time and energy to pursue it. It's too difficult, too much effort to manage, maintain, and grow a sub to do it for someone who's not serious. So that's the first thing. The second thing is more details. So what type of sub is she? What kind of needs does she have? And do my abilities match up with her needs? Is she a pain slut and I can't hit women? Or is she a baby girl and I'm just too much into pain play? Or is she a slave? And believe it or not, I find that slaves are actually the most challenging. Theoretically, they should be the most easy because they ask you, you get their submission once and it's up to you. That is actually a problem. There's too much submission and you have to be careful to not oversteer. So do you have enough experience with slaves to know not to treat them like a brat, for instance? Because those are kind of the opposing ends of the spectrum. You have a brat that you have to remind and continuously train to do simple tasks, where you have a slave on the other hand, and anything you might even think about and suggest becomes a reality more than you expected. And you're like, whoa. So I actually personally find it more challenging to manage a slave because you have to back off and be very, very subtle in your training rather than being extreme. So what type of sub is she? and what type of dominant are you? And is there enough overlap that it makes sense? Do not try to do something that you're not. Like it's okay to stretch and grow and develop and become more, but at the same time, don't take on the role of something that you don't have any experience in and don't have any interest in. On the other side, this is also very important. Never try to convert a sub from one type to another, and never ever try to convert a vanilla girl into being a submissive. That is just wrong, and I think you're gonna just cause problems for yourself, probably legally. In any case, so the two things: one, figure out who you are and where your abilities lie and your interests lie, and then when you're talking to a sub, make sure that she has the same kind of things going on for her. She's got similar interests and her needs match up with your abilities, because otherwise it's like you're the wrong sexes, you know? And I find it very interesting when I go to a munch and you meet somebody for the first time, you have to kind of be slow about it, but you have to find out, okay, you're this sex and you're, are you straight, gay, bi? Are you polyamorous? Are you monogamous? Are you a sub or a dominant, a top bottom, whatever it is? And then within that, what type? So there's so much complexity, and it's important that you know these things before you pursue any relationship with anyone. And so that gets to me to the next step, and probably the most important thing is saying no. I mean, it's the most powerful thing you can possibly do is say no to an opportunity. It's so easy to say yes. Like, you get a submissive that wants to be with you. Maybe she's very attractive, yet she's outside of your area of interest or excellence. And it's so easy to just say, oh, yeah, I could do that. Well, you could, but you're going to be causing a problem for you and for her. And you're going to be using up all your time and energy with that sub when you could actually be finding a sub that is more suitable for your interests and needs. So it's very powerful and very important to say no to opportunities, not only with the sub, but in all areas of your life. Saying no is a very powerful tool that you should have at your disposal. So that's what I got for you in this lesson. It's important to understand who you are and who they are before you even start. A couple key points that I failed to mention earlier, which I should throw out there, is this is a very intense thing, emotionally, mentally. I always look out to make sure that any potential petitions or subs, even existing subs, don't have any addictions, including drugs, alcohol, gambling. And the reason for that is submission and subspace is highly addictive, and the withdrawal from it is very painful. So if someone already has an issue with that, it makes it even worse. You want to make sure that anyone that you're considering or are with presently is mentally, physically, and emotionally able to withstand and grow from the experience. Because if not, you're just causing damage, and that's not a good thing. So be safe, and talk to you in the next lesson.